Hello, YouTube. We have a man who needs no introduction. It's Ted Skjellum from Darkthrone, and we're going to talk about music, gear, songwriting, and all sorts of cool stuff. So, Ted, thank you so much for being a part of Black Metal Legends. And yeah, let's talk music. Let's
Yeah,
talk music and
sure.
gear. So,
Yeah.
first thing I want to start off is by asking is your solo guitars, like your signature solo guitar. How did that come about?
Um, well, it was a friend of mine that we this friend and myself has always been very since we were quite young, had some kind of childish discussions about Gibson versus Ibanez, and you know I think in our late 40s we just gave up on that discussion. But anyway, he was the one that pointed me in the solar direction. Telling me that he have played on one, and he had some other dude he knew that got one of those guitars and said it's like really good quality. You should check it out. So I did. But the problem was that I didn't know anyone near here that owned a guitar, because you can't just go into a shop and buy those guitars. And I realized that pretty soon. So I wrote them a mail and asked them if they could kind of point me in some kind of direction to try them out or something. And I asked a few other questions, and they couldn't really help me. So they so I thanked them for the answer, and a couple of weeks later I heard from them again, and then they wanted to do something with me. Yeah. So and that's why all this came up, and it went pretty fast, from not knowing anything to suddenly have a couple of guitars at my home. And I was not surprised, I would say, but it was really good quality. And I think the neck profiles and scales and everything just suited me very well. I was used to play my Gibson Les Paul for over 20 years, and so it felt very different, but it was a good difference, because yeah. So I played those guitars for a couple of months, and then I went back to my Les Paul, and it felt like very odd, and it felt like an old tractor. But then again, I got a professional to set up my Les Paul professionally. I haven't done that in 20 years, so it was really nice to get that back in shape as well. So now I play them both on. Especially on an album we recorded um, lately.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And going back to say the specs of the guitars, because I believe it's isn't it 25.5 inch scale, um, 24 frets with Seymour Duncan pickups, right?
Yes, this
Yeah.
is Simon. The old, the classical, what we used to call them in the 80s, Duncan distortion pickups. I think it's SH6 or whatever.
Hmm.
But those pickups are awesome, and it really when we were in studio now in April, I was I was shocked how good those pickups were, because they play so so raw and open, so you can't really it was a really pleasant surprise using those in the studio, definitely.
For sure. That's really cool. And like is did you choose Seymour Duncan's purely because that's what you used to, or is it because those pickups give you a signature sort of sound? Because this is one thing I wanted to ask you as well, is like what is the type of tone that you look for, and do these pickups specifically help you find that tone?
No, you see, I approach sound very not that specific, because um, we have been in the studio, as you know, many times. We use all our resources, human resources, on actually making music and record albums. And I think that process for us is okay. We can have a plan and some wishes and something like that, but it always turn out differently than but we have learned not to expect anything, but I think we like to have the coincidences kind of dictate the outcome of it. So when it comes to my guitar tone, I think I played on various equipment and various amplifiers, different guitars, different pedals or whatever, and it always it turn out different every time. And also we have to keep in mind that we are kind of an evolving band. We have been that since we started out, because the thing is that we don't have the time to look back, or being kind of well, we started doing that now because we feel that we are coming almost to a full circle, because we are thinking about the demo days and how we approached those songs, and we're starting to have a bit of that in our music now. And coincidence, whatever, we don't have time to look back. We always have to look forward. And when we finally someday just lay the band to rest, or if we die or anything, then we can talk about, or other people can talk about what we have done or not done or whatever. But it's guitar tone is so much, and I don't remember if we ever have recorded guitars directly into the studio. I can't remember we have done that. Maybe I don't think we have done that. I think the bass has been plugged into the studio, because from 2004 until 2019, 18, I think every album from the Cult is Alive up until including Old Star was the last album we did on our studio. We bought a studio in 2004, so we used that equipment very efficiently, I would say. And we don't get back and we could do that. We could have done that a bit differently, or we can, we don't think like that, because every album has its own problems. Okay, and but that's not something we worry about because we try to, as I said, let the coincidences drive the band forward, and that also includes songwriting. A couple of times, maybe more, during all these years, we have kind of talked about changing a bit. And I think the last time we did that, as I know of, was after we recorded the Underground Resistance. We said, okay, I think we have peaked in this kind of direction. Let's make it a bit more, let the arrangements, okay?
Okay.
The arrangements of the songs should be a bit more easier to understand.
Okay.
Not necessarily. It's not like we had a master plan or anything, but the result is Arctic Thunder, which is pretty much a different album. And from there we evolved to Old Star and so on. But you never know, because every album will probably sound different and will have different type of riffs and style, if I can say that. And we are driving more and more into more classic metal and heavy metal and stuff like that. So, and I told the funny thing is I said to Fenris a couple of years ago, and I said, maybe we just end up as a pure heavy metal band. And his response was, yeah, that's what I've been saying. So awesome. You never know.
I think the biggest thing, before I ask any questions, is what you talked about, like progression and moving, and how Darkthrone has changed. Because in the lead up to this, I've just been listening to like all the Darkthrone I can.
Yeah.
Comparing the sound of Darkthrone and even the way the songs are crafted since like Soulside Journey up until Astral Fortress, it's exactly like you said. There is real development with the band, and I love the fact that you're always moving forward and always focusing on now, as opposed to focusing on the past, because it's a personal philosophy, because I'm one of those people that always tries to find a way to improve on something, whether it's on a personality level, physical level, even, but most importantly in this sense, it's the musical level. So if we're talking like if I'm listening to some of the shit that I wrote when I was 14, for example, it's completely different to what it is now, and that just shows like growth and character, and even like I'm a much better guitarist than I was when I was 14, and I think and I approach music well, and I just fucking love that. And it's I always find it refreshing when I'm speaking to people who are thinking about moving forward, as opposed to people who kind of dwell in the past too much. Like, of course, there's lessons to be learned in the past. There is history.
Oh yeah,
from history.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah. It's very important to take lessons, because but when I think I think a lot of people out there would probably, I think by now, I think most people understand that we are not going to release another Under Funeral Moon, but you never know.
Yeah.
As I say, but the thing is that the lessons in the past are really important. And for us, when we still were a 4-piece band, and all the lessons we did take from that, I mean, we basically lived in the rehearsal space, and we developed our skills very efficiently, and in just 2 or 3 years, a lot of things happened. And also when I think back on A Blaze in Northern Sky, for example, one of the which I like to say, I mean, we are a band that we are mixing genres all the time. And if you take A Blaze in Northern Sky apart, it's also a mixed genre album, but it sounds like, I mean, you know, the cover and the layout and the sound and the vocals and everything screams black metal, okay? But basically it's a mixed genre as well. Not to the extreme, but you understand what I mean. And and also that album, when I think about it, you know, we were kind of 19 years old when we recorded A Blaze, and it seems like a long time now. We've been more, you know, back then we just knew what we were set out to do, and we got we really achieved what we were setting out to do, and we do that still, but in a different way. I think we have a different approach to everything, I guess. I would say it's like you know, Fenris once said that I think it was in an interview and thing that we don't have any ambitions, and I think that's quite true. As he also said that we had an ambition in the demo days, and that was to release an album. So kind of after Soul's Journey, we didn't have any ambitions. It's just yeah, I don't know.
No, I can completely understand that. Like just going on your most recent point, which is the ambition, because I felt a certain way. Because it's like you have this goal, and then you spend your whole years obsessing about it. Especially when you're young, you have all this goal, you spend ages obsessing over it, and then you do it, and then it's kind of like, oh shit, what's next?
Yeah.
And then you're not sure what's going on, and then you try different things, and you have this real kind of like deep self-reflection. Kind of like,
Yeah, we had
what
that
have you
in
got?
back in 90, I would say back in 98 and 1907. It was kind of a, yeah, well, it's a bit of a hard time for Darkthrone, but we finally we finally got back in the studio again, and after that it's been, you know, kind of regularly in the studio. I mean, we could be in studio all the time because we are just brimming with the ideas. So it seems like it's never ending. I think that's part because we just you know, music is our life basically, and since we don't spend any time on touring or you know, doing other things, we can just focus on our music, and I think that's a fantastic place to be. And I mean, if we were going to tour back in the 90s or even now, I would think we wouldn't be much of a band anymore, I guess, for our differences and you know, see each other faces every day. I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I can understand. Like what? I guess it's like I'm trying to think of like the easiest way to phrase this question, but it's like um, the importance of touring and rehearsing
Mm.
versus the importance of not rehearsing and not touring. I
Mm.
think is but that's one thing I wanted to ask, and I think you've just explained it right there because touring is hard work, and especially in the early days, well, you know, 20, 30 years ago when
Yeah.
there's no internet, you know, no Google Maps on your phone or anything and trying to get by, and then
Mm.
no instant messaging, and then you have like issues with like phone connections, and if you need to go to a different country, there's all of this stuff that goes on. And
Yeah.
just like you said, like the being able to just focus on the music and you know have that time to breathe, I guess,
Yeah.
not being so so like together
Yeah.
with the
Yeah. I know, and I think none of us likes to travel anyway. So
Mm.
for us, it's a very easy decision, and because it's about creating music, and this is what I learned from the early days as well. It's that it's at the rehearsal place things were happening. It's like everything boiled, and everything came together. And but nowadays we have a bit more. The process of making songs are very different. I think now when we have started to go to a studio in Oslo, we have a bit more time for planning. But you have to remember that even the cult is alive, and a lot of album after that we didn't have. I mean, we met when we were recording, and we did record in a couple of weekends. That will say that we recorded half the album in one weekend, and we went home, and then we got back a couple of weeks later and did the rest of the album. And we have to set up all the equipment again, and well, almost. And that was, and we didn't send each other any ideas or anything. We just came to the rehearsal, putting up every microphone, and had everything ready for recording. But we had to rehearse the songs as well, because we
Yeah.
we hadn't heard each other's riff or anything. So we have to learn, very quickly. And I think that's something I've been. I think that's fun, doing music that way, because when we came back from studio last time, so many things. I mean, I'm working very hard in the studio with the guitars, and I can't, when I came home, I couldn't even remember what I
Mhm.
how the songs turned out. I have to rest for a couple of weeks, and then we get something back from the studio. And so I think that's a fun way to do music. It's not try not to overanalyze anything, and still, on the Astro Fortress album, I wanted to have this kind of a sticker back on the album saying that no metronome since 1987. And I think that is the point of having that on the album is to explain. Well, it's a kind of a partial explanation of why we sound like we do. And I think I like to play with other people and not with a computer. It's I think that's very two different things. And but we know each other so well now in music, so we don't really we don't have any hurdles in front of us, because we understand each other's way of thinking music.
Mm.
And but we don't have any metronome, so we have to keep the beat ourselves. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because the music is then allowed to breathe a bit.
Mm.
Otherwise, it could be a bit, sterile.
Yeah. No, I
I don't speak English every day now.
no, I understand, like, because there's something about the flow of the music. I guess when you're
Yeah,
playing, when you're just jamming with someone, you're kind of like both of you in the zone, and both of you need to be completely in sync
yeah,
without any kind of external presence, I guess.
yeah.
And it kind of forces you to really lock in with
Mm.
people you work with as well. And I absolutely love what you how Darkthrone's approaching songwriting now, because there's something so special about playing guitar and having things be spontaneous. And
Yeah,
it's like, so for example, like some of like for me anyway, like when I'm just playing around, I'm just noodling. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm playing a riff, and then out of nowhere, a series of notes just connects, and it's like, yes, I need that riff, and
yeah,
then those are the real magic moments. And I have this thinking and this philosophy where all the you remember the best riffs.
yeah.
So when you're playing guitar, you're playing something. If you're able to play it in again and again and again, then you remember the riff, and then that's one that you can use in a future song. Which leads me to my next question, which is like when it comes to the songwriting and the actual approach to writing songs with Darkthrone, how has it changed since the early days back in the 90s as opposed to now?
Well, back in the 80s and early 90s, we did everybody kind of chipped in, with riffs, and we something felt natural. Okay, you have that riff, and we just we rehearsed a lot, so we just tried to put. I mean, take Goat Lord for an example. That was a very huge task for us back then to do that, and I mean it turned out to be a rehearsal thing on the album, but the amount of effort we did on Goat Lord is quite immense, and I think also that was the turning point for especially for Ivar Zephyrus and me, because we were sitting down in his basement and you know uh, listening to, I don't know, Motorhead or whatever, and we kind of we started to talk about what the hell are we doing, we
Mhm.
have painted us we have painted us ourselves into a corner with all this technical stuff, and I think we realized then that this can't continue because it's not really what we are, but this yeah, so we just uh, drove out to Fenris uh, and talked to him, and he was very on board with that idea, because it's like when a band starts and you are young. Okay, we were kind of 15, 16 years old, and the only thing you really want is to be a band, make songs and get it to work, and of course be good at your instrument. It's a very crucial thing. At least it was for us. And so the band in the early days kind of evolves itself, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is who we basically are. So I think yeah, that's the thing. So I think Goat Lord was the tipping point because it was great working with Goat Lord. It was awesome, and but I think that was kind of the end, because we couldn't see ourselves in the future, playing even more technical, because that was not really who we were. I think.
I think that says it all. It's like you guys had this really, you were already thinking about like a long-term vision, but it was kind of like you knew what you needed to change at the time to think ahead in the future, even though it wasn't very clear.
Oh, it wasn't very clear because I think the only thing me and Zephyrus was thinking is that instead of all these, kind of technical things and stopping and there's a lot of things going on,
Hmm.
we wanted to see more of the long lines, in the music. Kind of a yeah. and I think we managed to do that. But then again, and nowadays we can be technical in a different way. And as a guitarist, I have to admit that playing metal and especially I think heavy metal and trying to be is a very it's very fun to play guitar when it was not really I mean back at the Goat Lord. I'm back at Goat Lord again, but it was very fun then because we pushed each other so far on that album that it should not be possible, I think, because we weren't. I mean, okay, Soul's Journey was also a kind of a technical album, but not as by far so technical as Goat Lord. So of course we pushed each other very far on that album, and of course we got even better at our instruments on Goat Lord. So from there we kind of regressed a bit. It's like it was good to play some long lines and you can repeat the riffs and but Darkthrone is all about the care for and the interest in music in general. We're not about anything else really. So well, not anything we shall discuss now anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one thing that Darkthrone, for me, this is one of the charms of Darkthrone's music, is that Darkthrone's music always is what it is and is deeply unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
It's you guys are recording whatever music basically you guys are doing what the fuck you guys want to do, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You guys are still going to go ahead and do it just because you want it. And I think again that's the artistic integrity with the Darkthrone, and it's so charming that you guys are just able to just be like, yep.
And I think this is, I think people, not all people but a lot of people get bored with the stuff after a while, and they want something really authentic. And the thing is that our albums basically always has been and especially from The Cult Is Alive, especially from that album, what you're hearing is basically Darkthrone live, especially since The Cult Is Alive. What you're hearing is live, and people say, some people want to see us live, but I think to see us live isn't that fun. But when you listen to our albums, that's pretty much live, because we are actually recording the drums and the one of the guitar live in studio. So that's the heart of the band, and then I add the other guitars afterwards. But it's like this, the spine of Darkthrone is live, and we are very honest about things like that.
It goes back to your point, really. No metronomes used since 1987.
Oh.
Darkthrone is always so authentic and unapologetically doing Darkthrone, and you record live with Fenriz, and that's all. Well, for me anyway, that's all I can ask for from Darkthrone's music, and all I can ask for from the artists I listen to. That it's like the I guess in some ways the best version of them, or the version of, or the music that they want to make, shown and expressed in the vessel that they want to make it in.
Yeah, and I know many people, and especially in the so-called black metal community, are very at least used to be very, you know, it has to be, this or that. But I think, as long as people enjoys music, I don't care what music they are listening to. But I think it's important to have music in our lives, and there's room for everyone. It's like, even though I don't listen to, well, there's a style of music I definitely don't like, and that's the kind of what I call college metal.
Okay, I think.
I don't have to mention anything else, but
Yeah.
that really rubs me the wrong way. But you know, music. But I think other people are really happy about that music, and okay, that's fine. But it's always a safe harbor to come to Darkthrone camp.
Hmm.
We have always something for everybody.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. Like it was really like it was just awesome listening back to all the Darkthrone stuff because it's been a long time since I dived into some of the even the earlier works and stuff, and it's just always like, yeah, fuck yeah. There's always something in a Darkthrone album that's just like, fuck yeah. Like this is.
Yeah, I know. Yes, and probably now we sound better than ever. So we'll see.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I'm always excited to hear new Darkthrone. There's always like, what's next? But no, that's awesome. And when it comes to this is touching up on one of the earlier points, is when it comes to the actual creative process, how does how do you incorporate bass into Darkthrone's music, and like how deep do you go into it, and what kind of part does it play in Darkthrone's music?
Well, interesting question, because basically I have been handling the bass, you know, since feels like, well, first time I played bass on a Darkland album was under Funeral Moon.
Mhm.
But I think nowadays, and if you go back to The Cult is Alive again, because when we bought that studio, we bought some equipment, and we needed a bass. So we bought the ugliest bass possible because it was cheap, but it served on the albums from Cult is Alive, and up until including Old Star. But then the bass kind of died.
So you use the same bass from Under a Funeral Moon to The Cult is
No,
Alive.
from
Oh,
The Cult is Alive.
okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
So it was some years, but that bass did actually deliver. No matter how ugly that bass is, it delivered decent bass. But the approach to bass is like, I want Fenris to play a bit bass as well, and he done that sometimes on his couple of his own songs or something like that. But and now this year we found a different. We have found a much more healthier way to cooperate in the studios, and I think. But so Fenris also is playing bass on the new album, which I appreciate, because when it comes to bass, I think Fenris is really at some parts of the music, some parts of the riff, he can. He's very good at finding stuff, invents something, and I do as well. But I'm so focused in studio on guitars, so that everything has to be so precise, and that's basically what I'm doing with the bass as well. I'm going to show you the ugly bass. So what happened to it is like I think the electronic just died or something.
gotcha.
But it hangs on my wall as a reminder.
See, that's an amazing timepiece. I love that.
This is, as you know, the signature model that is that we did go for. But this is like we did two prototypes.
Huh?
We did a classic version,
Hmm.
which is this.
Yeah.
That is that you can buy on Solar, and we did a modern version. So I think the basically it's down to the finish and colors. But I'm going to show you the modern version that's is not for sale. So it's a bit more matte, and you have a black. It's basically the same guitar, but it's yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I used this guitar actually on the new album together with my old trusty Gibson guitar.
Amazing. And do you have the Les Paul with you?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You see this when I first got this thing.
Yeah.
The pickups. I think it was is it the T500 that used to sit here and the T498 here.
I'm not too familiar with Gibson's.
I think so.
Yeah, you're probably
It's
right.
very classical Gibson stuff, and I was used to that because of my old Explorer that I used on a Blaze. So after a couple of weeks after I got this, I ordered Tom Iommi signature pickup.
Mhm.
So I've been playing on this pickup for 20 years. And at first I didn't notice much difference, but after a while I understood that this pickup is, far better than the T500, and it's also a Gibson pickup. So
Sweet.
I think the guy that designed the original humbucker for Tom Iommi was taking it apart and to design these new ones, and I like that.
That's
I
amazing.
also changed the
Oh yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because it's much more easier to
Yeah, and they look classier, especially with like the piano black color of that Les Paul. I think, and it really
yeah.
matches the pickup as well. That's amazing. And do you know what's also really cool is that all of your guitars and even that old bass, which was used for ages, is still in really good condition. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's a good thing. I've been playing. I think one of my first guitars was more of a cheap guitars, but I remember the first decent guitar I had was a Jackson. I think it was dinky somewhere, but it was like a anniversary model. I think Grover Jackson actually had his signature in. He actually written on the back
Awesome.
of the head on the guitar.
It's amazing.
It was I think that guitar you can see on the early bootleg shows we did. It's on YouTube, from I think it was 89 and 90
Yeah, the white one, isn't
we
it?
played there, and then I used Hmm?
The white one, isn't it? The white dinky shaped one, isn't
No,
it?
it was like more like a blue kind of it's kind of a deep blue Jackson guitar.
I have to look out for that.
Uh, yeah, it was good, and I also owned the ESP, and but for me, I think uh, it didn't really work for me. I think. I mean, the guitar was super great. I mean, it was so easy to play on that it's almost played by itself, as I like to say. But one thing I can't stand is active pickups.
Okay.
I have a problem with that. I don't know why, but I think I think it lacks personality.
Mhm.
But that's me, and I know other guys as well that could be sponsored by anything, and I understand active pickups when you're playing live, I can understand that because active pickups have a bit more what I would call the noise between the strings. It's a difficult way to say it, maybe, but and when you play live, you probably have much more control over active humbuckers. But when you go to studio, I think basically everyone is using passive pickups. I don't know, but I just know things.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just curious now. Is there any okay, what's your favorite Darkthrone riff to play on guitar?
Oh, well, I think it has to. I don't know. It's very difficult to say because I have good memories of all the riffs and all the struggle and. But I think it was really fun to play. You know the last. It's a good thing. I mean, I remember. I can tell you about the Underground Resistance
Huh?
because the last song there is about 13 minutes long, and we were playing that live as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Isn't
And
that Leave No Cross Unturned?
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
that's right. And that was a great track to play. And I remember after a few tries, we nailed it. And I could feel my right hand was a bit numb
Yeah.
after being so concentrated for 13 minutes. But then we nailed it, and then I was back in the saddle again, putting on the second guitar. So yeah, it's all good memories.
No, that's one of my favorite riffs in your catalog. But my favorite Darkthrone album is Astral Fortress. Uh,
Yeah,
the reason why it's my favorite album is because for no matter who I'm with or whatever mood I'm in, it always just hits. It always just hits right. Just when you go for even on drives to work, like I listened to the whole album this morning on the way to work, and you set off early in the morning, you're a bit groggy, and you got the acoustic guitar parts coming in, and then it just makes the journey feel more like a journey.
yeah.
And
Well, that's
yeah,
that's very nice of you to say. I mean, uh, and the thing that really I listen to a lot of folk music.
Hmm.
I've been doing that for years, and it just proves that music is a universal thing. And I think the mood you are getting into is because of what your surroundings is different from mine,
Hmm.
and but we all understand its appeal, and I think that is a great thing about music. It's everybody has that in common.
Yeah, for sure. Because like music is,
Except for some countries that it's not allowed to
of
listen.
course, yeah, it's one of those things like music is always one of those things that speak to people and different
Yeah,
music speaks to different people. But I love dude, like Astral Fortress, some of the songwriting in there is just fucking class. Like you got Stalagmite Necklace with that really kind of that dun 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 where it just kind of like feels like it's sinking. And then you've got all
yeah,
the keyboards and stuff on top, and then
yeah.
and you get the fucking big riffs afterwards. It's just
Yeah,
like
well, thanks.
that's so
That's
fucking great. And then
that's
you've
nice
got
to really good to hear. I think Astral Fortress is you're going to get more of that kind of style, but every album will be different, and but we are on the journey to something that we believe is really we have a good path ahead of us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to everything.
Oh, for sure.
I'm looking forward to go back in the studio once again, but we have to keep calm now and not get stressed out.
The sea beneath the seas of the seas. Yeah, the sea beneath the seas of the sea. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's my favorite Darkthrone song.
yeah, yeah.
But you
Nice.
know the first riff,
Yeah.
Did you write that riff, or was that a Fenris riff, or was it
No,
both?
that's a Fenris riff, but I'm playing it on of course, on the album.
Yeah, I think that was yeah, it's just the way that whole song just flows is
Mm.
it's just pure magic.
Yeah,
It,
thanks.
it
And this is one of the things that is happening in Darkthrone now is that we have found a different way to we are sticking our noses into each other's songs um, in much more.
Hmm.
So I don't think it will. I think on the next album it will always say that it's music by Darkthrone,
Hmm.
and we found a kind of a golden thing that we haven't done before. So it will be interesting to see the reception of that album.
Wicked. No,
Yeah.
I'm excited. And when it comes to Darkthrone albums always have like this cohesiveness, in the sense that every song kind of flows perfectly into the next one. Was it, is that an intentional thing when you make albums? Because are you already thinking about like the album as a complete package before you write the songs, or is it the
No,
case? Okay.
no, that's not the case. But the thing is that uh, when an album is done recording in studio, the next big questions down the line is the order of the songs, and we put really much thought about it because it's very important, and we know it's important, and we're always taking that very seriously because it's something about what is the first thing people will hear on the album. The first song, the opening song. It should kind of we think it should represent the album. We try to pick a song that can kind of represent the album a bit, but it's very difficult because the songs are different, and but the first and last song is really important to nail, and we are even narrowing it down to vinyl.
Mm.
I mean, which song should be the last on side A? Yeah. So there's a lot of thought process in that, and I usually rely on Fenris on that because I think he has even stronger opinions on that than me. But if we are really don't think the same way, we have a discussion, and we settle with something.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it's important because as you say, it's we're trying to make it as you say, coherent, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what we are aiming for because it's important to have a good package, and taking the listener down a certain road. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, because there's nothing worse. Okay, so this used to happen to me because when I was in my teen years, I was like, no, I was like, no, I'm not going to listen to Spotify. I'm going to buy the albums and pay my money, go to the shop, get the thing, get the physical thing, and listen to it properly. So I used to buy a whole bunch of CDs, and there was so many times where I was listening to the CD, and then it's like, yes, the first three songs, amazing, and then the rest of the album just falters, or there's nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
I just can't stand that. So
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, that has been a bit of a problem.
Mm.
And I think you have to remember that I would guess a lot of band just go on autopilot a lot, and that's what you're getting. And I don't remember this monstrosity.
Whoa, what's this?
Yeah, that's the. It's like very. I use this guitar for. Uh, I recorded a couple of guitar fills or solos back in I think it was Circle the Wagons or something. Yeah, it's a cool guitar to have.
That's insane. Look at that.
Yeah,
That is that's quite a piece of work. Who made this?
it's an American dude called Icon Guitars.
No way. And it's got fuck off and die in the fretboard as well.
Yeah,
That's a really special thing right there. Fucking
yeah, and it's kind of flat.
yeah.
So this is like made with what do you call it in English? It's like it's a cast of some kind of
Yeah.
sort. I think I can't remember the name of the material, but it's fun to have that guitar actually. And
Yeah,
even the pickup is very what do you call it?
Necrobucker. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like really low output on them, so
Uh-huh.
it's kind of it's a fun guitar, and you see the flatness of it's not rounded, it's just flat here.
Yeah. That's quite a thing. That's a really interesting neck because I've played guitars with flat necks and
Yeah,
they're really comfortable but uncomfortable at the same time.
yeah. I think this. Yeah, I know this worked out quite good for me, and
Hmm.
but you know, it's fully usable, and but I haven't used it on. I think I used it on. It was some album I recorded. No, it's not. Probably it's not Circle the Wagons. Is probably later.
Mhm.
I can't remember when I got this guitar.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing.
What made you want to pick up the guitar in the first place, and who's your like number one guitar hero?
Oh, I think I picked up the guitar when I was like maybe 12 or 13 years old. I can't really. It was the again back to the interest in music and bands, and I thought it was like just some interesting. I think it was. I was very interested in knowing how they could play cool riffs, because I saw that it's possible with when I saw a music video or anything. And but I think it's hard to to say who's my guitar hero, but I think that there's a lot of them, definitely. And because I heard so many bands, but I have to say that one of the really cool riff makers is of course Tony Iommi.
Hmm.
I mean, Black Sabbath was like, you know I like to see the. I saw a kind of an unedited version of Black Sabbath in 1970 playing in Paris,
Mhm.
and I think the people that came there, some of them didn't really know what to expect. I saw kind of old people, children, and they just stood there and was like miles ahead of the time. And Black Sabbath, and I even bands like I don't know, Thin Lizzy was great, and there's so many bands. I mean, even early Accept. I really like the Restless and Wild album for Accept. It's great. It's not an inspiration for my for guitars, but they had a lot of good riffs, and I like that album. Maybe yeah, and Fast Eddie from Motorhead was also kind of fantastic. And you have all these other guys like I'm kind of a nerd on this because I like a lot of music, even old jazz things, and it's like when I listen to BB King, for example, I can listen to the now late Jeff Beck.
Hmm.
I mean, Jeff Beck, Roger Waters did this album Amused to Death, and when he was making that album, he came with the absolutely best solution to finding the right guitar player, and that was Jeff Beck. It was mind blowing stuff. So there's a lot of, I mean, the guitarist of Rush as well is like nobody talk much about him, but I think he's a fantastic all round guitarist. I mean, it's amazing. Also, you have a riff maker like Jeff Hanneman
Oh
of
yeah.
Slayer. Yeah, you can't really. I mean, the stuff he wrote was like out of this world.
It's interesting you mentioned Tony Iommi because there's a big kind of there's a type of parallel between Tony Iommi and Darkthrone is that well Tony Iommi's riffs in his era of Black Sabbath when if we're talking just about like big riffs
Mm.
it's like no it's interesting I was listening to like Paranoid recently as well the whole album and all of the riffs are statements really really strong statements
Yeah,
compare and if we compare something like War Pigs, and we compare that to something like even in the Shadow of the Horns, or even like Leave No Cross Unturned, or even uh, Stalagmite Necklace. There's always that big emphasis on just fucking piecing together cool riffs, but making sure that all the riffs work and flow together.
yeah, and I think one of the things I have been thinking about is not thinking about, but it's obvious because for me it's much more easier to write a complicated riff because then you can add a lot of entertainment along the way, but to make a really really simple riff and to make that work because that simple riff should carry the whole thing forward, that's hard.
That is, yeah,
That's a
really,
lot harder. I tell you,
yeah.
it's yeah, and when it comes to guitar playing, I've been for some years now. I have been pondering a lot about. I'm I'm so you know I'm so grateful for not being an educated guitarist, and it's because some of the things we are doing. If I was like a high graduate guitarist, go to school for 10 years and so on, there's a lot of things we do that we probably wouldn't do because then I would get questions in my head like, can I really play this? Because people might think I'm not. I haven't. Maybe they think that I haven't go to school for 10 years to learn all these things. So that's sort of. It's just being very. I avoid all those things because you can do whatever you want, and it goes also with my solos because I haven't really. I know the guitar and how it works and everything, but I have no clue. On the other hand, I have no clue what I'm doing at all. To put it a bit silly, but it's good to go to think outside the box, and I think that's where we belong, and I think that's also the creative sphere for us, and also obviously for Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
I won't compare Darkthrone and Black Sabbath because, but you understand what I mean.
That's one thing that I tell a lot of my students and even the people who watch my channel is because it's like, yes, I do teach music theory. Yes, there are certain scales that can make a more evil sound, and certain notes that sound more, certain scales and stuff that do sound more kind of like epic or colder, if you will.
Mm.
But ultimately, fuck all that.
Yeah,
Forget about it because all that is a tool to help you learn and to understand what you're playing. But
yeah,
really think that the true like it's so hard to teach creativity, and you can't
yeah.
force someone to be creative either.
Oh,
It's
you said it. You said it. You can't teach creativity, and that's a very good point. And I also been a guitar teacher. I also were a drum teacher at one point, and and it's fun, to teach stuff. But I was teaching more like how to understand the guitar and much of the basic. But the thing was, it was really fun to teach drums
hmm,
because you know I would say 99% of the Earth population have some kind of rhythm sense in them, and drums is like compared to a guitar. Okay, you're going to have this chord or whatever, and people are struggling to get the fingers right, and then they and then they slap the strings, and it sounds kind of awful because it's much more difficult instrument. But when it comes to drums, when you hit the drum, that's exactly how the drum is supposed to sound, and so it's more of a thing that to coordinate everything. So yeah,
no, for sure. I had no idea you were a drum teacher. That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I was for a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh wow, cool. No, I had no idea. I had no idea you were a guitar teacher as well. I just no, yeah, I
Oh,
just
it was very kind of basic stuff, but it was fun because that's something also I can I could learn from doing that thing. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
yeah.
But,
So are there any guitarists out there right now that you keep an eye on or you just really enjoy listening to or you think they have really or they make really cool stuff?
uh, that was a really difficult question because nowadays, well, for the last 5 years or something, I haven't been listening to much music, but I know Fenris is sending me some stuff once in a while that I think is really great. But there's no particular guitarist I um I have my eye on.
Mm.
No, thing is that I've been very. I think silence is my new kind of music. I like silence, um, but when I listen to music, I put on some vinyl, and it's always kind of mostly 70s 80s stuff, but and even 60s. But yeah, yeah. No, I don't have my eye on any particular guitarist actually.
Or what about any particular bands?
Well, no, again, it's just the old timers. You know, I'm very rarely at a gig as well. It happens maybe a couple of times a year. I was seeing the Residents from United States. You know that band? It's very uh, no, the Residents. I think they started in the late '60s or anything. It's like a people came together to make music and art and stuff like that. So they released a lot of albums. That was great. It was near where I live, and also the band from Norway in Trondheim called Motorcycle. I
Mhm.
was seeing them a couple of weeks ago, and I think that also was really great. I think Motorcycle is probably the band in Norway that we have most in common with. I think not musically necessarily, but the way of thinking music and be able to change yourself and do what you want to do, kind of attitude. Yeah.
For sure. No, that's really cool. That got me thinking about another question. And how much of an influence was Euronymous and Blackthorn to your playing?
Euronymous, not at all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I had a, you see, we have a completely different approach to music, and but yeah, we were friends with him, and I remember even he was, I think, Euronymous and Dead and Hellhammer and those guys were. We had a kind of a private release party on Soulside Journey. They were there,
Cool.
and we had a blast. It was great, and so but people often mistakes. I mean, the question you asked now is really interesting because I had actually a long chat with Fenris, you know, a couple of months ago about this issue, and we just, you know, we just agreed on that we are never escaping this kind of things.
Mm.
Uh, you know, even how untrue, you know, claims that people come with. But when it comes to Euronymous as playing or Mayhem as a band, it was never any inspiration for us because all you have to do is just to listen to the albums and you understand the differences
Mm.
straight away. But we were in the kind of a same. You have to remember that Norway back in the day was very. There weren't many bands, so the few bands you knew of in the area, of course, you try to, you know, it was good to meet them and you know just having a good time. We never discussed music as such,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, and that's a really really interesting point. Because that's one of the reasons why I asked the question in the first place is because the music Darkthrone makes is completely different to Mayhem, and I was just curious. But then it goes on to an even more important point is when you hung out with the musicians, you weren't talking about music. It was always about like other stuff, and I think that's just so cool because when I'm hanging out with some of my bandmates and some of my friends, we barely even talk about music, and I quite
Yeah,
like that. I quite like having you've got something that all of you guys are all passionate and you know like your shit about, but then you're able to talk about other things. And
yeah,
I find that so much more it helps create more it helps expand your mind and have more open conversations.
absolutely. And you know, Fenris and me, we have very much contact now on the you know SMS kind of things. But it's funny because every spring and summer we are texting I think a lot of things. Some music, but especially in the spring and early summer, we are talking about we are texting about gardening.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, that's that's
Yeah.
how it's become. We have to we have to keep our gardens. But he's very much more of a gardener than I am. But I have to take care of the things myself. So yeah, that's a good thing about. So we can talk about a lot of things, and yeah, but we don't see each other much though. I mean, we usually meet, when it's something regarding Darkthrone and photo sessions or studio work and. But I think we should, try to hang a bit more out now because we have come this far and we're good friends. Yeah.
No, for sure. No, that's really, really good to hear. And that's the thing, it's hard to think of Darkthrone without you two. And it's just like it sounds silly, but it's like, you two are Darkthrone, but it's more than just Darkthrone. It's almost a sense of family.
Yeah, it can. I mean, we are used most of our lives in this band, and it's just become a part of who we are, I guess. Because I mean, yeah, well, since I joined the band in early '88, I've been thinking about this band all the time. I mean, every day I think about the band, and so it's been a really for me, and also just to have this thing in my life has probably saved me from going mental sometimes. And I've been so fortunate as well. I mean, I've been writing some lyrics when I really have something on my mind. But Fenris lyrics are exceptionally good, and I've been, lucky to have those lyrics that I could, do the vocals for, and so yeah, he's brilliant on the lyrics, definitely. Now we're talking about lyrics. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't this supposed to be about guitars?
Yeah, yeah. But this is the thing, like it goes back to talking about more things, more open-minded stuff. So, yeah, because admittedly, like Darkthrone's lyrics, I haven't looked into so much because I'm one of those people that when I listen to music, the lyrical content is the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
When I listen to music, but that's just my kind of perception. So, yeah, I think lyrics is a good thing to talk about. So, the lyrical themes from Astral Fortress, I guess, like Impeccable Caverns of Satan.
Mhm.
Like, I I I don't know what all the lyrics are, but what was like the intent
Well,
with
that
the
you know, we have a habit of not commenting on lyrics because
okay.
first of all, um, the lyrics are very personal,
Mm,
and also it's much better that people interpret the lyrics their own way.
okay. Yeah.
Because if I say that you have to think this or that, it kind of ruins the experience.
Mhm.
um, but also Fenris also changed, the the lyrics, and this is because over 35 years, you of course you grow and you experience a lot of things, and the lyrics are a result of that. And I don't I can't remember last time I made a lyric for Darkthrone. I know I made a few on the Underground Resistance, and that was because I really had something to write about, and it's very personal, but it's always packed into kind of a lyrical theme that to trying to disguise what I really saying.
How do you feel when other people cover your songs?
Oh, that's I think that's great. I
Oh,
think
cool.
that's yeah, I think that is awesome because when I when we started out, I think we were basically very pleased if someone even understood what we were doing,
Hmm.
and I think that's great. I heard a lot of good cover songs, and so it's I see it as a as an honor that people wants to play our songs, and that we made kind of an impact, and I think that's great. Yeah,
Oh, that's
even
awesome.
though even though we're kind of uh, to expect that everybody should understand what they're doing is of course silly, but as I like to say, since we haven't done anything drastic to get attention or whatever, we're trying to push the music in front of ourselves because that's what we like people to, yeah.
Hmm.
So we have done this, and also because of the music we make, it's a kind of an uphill battle from the start. But as I like to say that we have had a positive curve, like not like that, but like this in 35 years, and I like that
Hmm.
because we try not to get attention of the things than the music. And now we are talking about. I think this interview is really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That's great. No, I'm happy.
yeah, because yeah, it's like we're talking about gear, and this is things I know about,
Hmm.
and and that's what I do. It's so it's good. It's all good.
No,
I
no,
like this.
I'm no, I'm all good. No, that's the thing. Like, it's like I said to you before. It's like your wishes are paramount, and I don't want it to be like some stupid bullshit conversation about.
Oh, I mean, you're a really nice guy, and I like this.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that's all good, and yeah, no, I just think it's great. Because this is I was having a conversation with Shalva Andre of Svartelde, and you play in 1349, and since the chat we had for Black Metal Legends, we've still kept in contact and talked about like music and had like little chats, and it's always fantastic because the way it's very similar, like the way you guys are explaining music now, and it's always letting the music always speak for itself, and I just think that's fantastic. And it's just about being as creative as possible and trying to push your own sounds and let more of your own personality be expressed in the music,
Yeah.
as opposed to try to imitate others or do something that isn't authentically yourself. And
Hmm.
I think that's a big thing that the for me, like that's a big thing in the current black metal scene and market right now. I think more people need to try and be themselves in the sense that they're making the music that they want to make rather than trying to sound like someone else. Um,
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and of course the bands that are going on tour all the time, they will probably make more of the same albums because they are going on tour. It's like, and I think it's nice for us to not have that kind of distortion around ourselves. But I mean, every man to himself, and woman.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I think it's all good. I mean, there's a place, I guess, for everybody, and but I understand that live is very popular thing, but I think live playing and making albums are two completely different things,
Yes, yes.
because I think playing live is more of an entertainment business. And I think at least my philosophy is that when we quit or die or anything, at least we have the albums, that we have made their mark. And because a live show is like, yeah, it's what it says, is a live show, and then it's over,
Mm.
basically.
Letting the music breathe.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, because if it's like you said, if you're playing live, then really you're just focusing on the songs that you're performing, because you've got to get those tight or whatever. And in some ways, there's less to go wrong in a live show. Um, and there's more to go wrong in an album because there's even though it's a very, very similar setup, it's just somehow like the album is one of those things that requires a lot more thought and a lot more
Mm.
process. Because effectively with a live show, if we're talking like real fundamental ground level, it's musicians, gear, and yeah, musicians and gear basically. Because I was thinking like speakers and microphones, that's all part of gear, right?
Yeah.
And equipment. But then in the studio, you've got musicians, gear, and then you've also got like sometimes living at the studio, and then it's like that little fine bit in a take that can go wrong, or like you're playing a chord and you touch the strings and it makes like a weirder sound, so you need to try and do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's more little things to go wrong in the album, and having that breathing room to really think and still rehearsing and still spending time to craft each song, um, even at home or with other musicians, I think is um, so much more. Well, it's a harder thing to finish.
Yeah, because what you're doing in the studio is going to kind of, that's it. It's a very final thing, and it's out there forever. And so the studio work is really, I remember both after, I mean, every album, and but I would say especially Eternal Hails,
Mm.
and Astral Fortress. And there's so much work for me, and when I get back home, I'm just extremely exhausted, because you have to try at least to be on your peak performance all the time. And there's so much in when we are in studio, there's a lot of things that we can do or change, or so I have to be so concentrated all the time. So what I like to do is, when I get back from studio, I could probably sleep for a couple of weeks, but I suddenly realized the morning after I get back from studio that I can't sleep 2 weeks, because there's a lot of things to do. And so yeah, it's so the beard is getting all grayer and whiter for each year, and that's probably the age, but also it's a concentration thing.
Yeah, no, I could understand that completely because when I'm tracking. See, I am fastidious when I'm tracking guitars. Like I'm one of those people that's like, say if I'm recording two guitars, I've got
Yeah.
to make sure that they're absolutely in line with the grid because yeah, it's like the way I record is with I just go straight into DAWs and try to make everything as tight and as tight as possible, and that
Mm.
requires just so much effort. And
Yeah.
something's like even slightly off by a tiny bit, I'm like, no, that's shit. I'm gonna fucking do it again. And then I spend like the next while recording the same thing, and it's so mentally demanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes physically as well. If you're tracking something really, really, really difficult,
Yeah.
it's hard work.
It's really it's very hard, and yeah, it's I mean the fortunate thing about Darton is that I think it was either it was on the album called Dark Thrones and Black Flags, or it was Circle the Wagons. I can't remember which album, but when we recorded that song live, one guitar and drums. Um, I think I can't remember if it was me or Fenris that got confused in the middle of the song. I think it was. It doesn't matter. Uh, but the result is that I think it was me that got confused because I was thinking that now the next part is coming, but then I just hold the strings, and Fenris kept on playing, and then we just came together again. Uh, but instead of changing that, we kept it like that because it sounds deliberate.
Hmm.
But if it has been, if it hadn't sounded any good, then we will of course do it again.
Hmm.
But it was like, but people think that that's how the song is supposed to be.
Hmm.
But that's the luxury of being in Darkthrone. We just let as I told you in the start, that coincidences is really nice thing for us.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's times when I was playing a riff, and I accidentally played like a wrong note, and it somehow worked better. Like
Yeah,
happy accidents. And those things are so important. And that's why it's like, it's going back to making riffs. It's like, you've got to have spontaneousness. You've got to be able to just playing and playing and work subconsciously in a way.
yeah,
Not overthink it too much. Don't worry about what the notes are, but worry more about how you're playing the notes, and don't really worry about what's next. And you've just got to just keep playing because the riffs will
yeah,
come. Yeah, yeah, because
yeah.
that.
It's all a matter of how it sounds in the end.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
yeah,
And when
and
you,
of course we know that if you play the wrong note, or Fenris is playing, uh, just cock up the, the drums, we have to do it again. But now the last albums we have been exchanging ideas, and we talk about drums, and we talk about, and I send him riffs, and so he's kind of well prepared in studio, and so it has been really smooth lately, and the thing is, like, when you listen to Astral Fortress, for instance, the and I think it's Stalagmite Necklace that has this echo effect on the vocals.
hmm,
Yeah. It's not a plugin. It's like it's a 70s tape echo recorder.
is it
It's like
really
this.
awesome?
Yeah, it's like a box, like this size, and you have to turn knobs, and it's an actual tape going in there, repeating the things, and it's fun. It's fun, to do, and also the reverb stuff is like. It's like real, authentic, old school equipment, and it's really fun to work with. and it's difficult, but it's I think it's more fun.
Yeah, like there's something about something there's something about something less perfect that makes something more perfect.
Yeah,
That's really, really hard. That's a really hard sentence to say.
yeah,
But there's something, it's I think the human qualities. Humans are naturally imperfect. And it's about sometimes little imperfections or things that just a little bit wrong sometimes that somehow work better. Because, with technology now, it's all about trying to be as perfect as possible.
yeah,
And,
exactly,
and yeah, like I
exactly.
know yeah, like I know how I just said like with my playing, I want it to be as perfect as possible, but that's because I'm just a fucking like I'm just like demonically possessed with trying to get this take as as
Yeah,
to the grid as possible. But I understand like in the moment, that sometimes the little imperfections can work better, and it even sometimes works better it works best in the creative
yeah,
process.
but it all depends on what you want to express,
Mm.
because of course some types of music requires more precision, and I think Darkthrone is a bit more like BB King, like
Yeah.
we just we just go with the flow, and trying to. So yeah, I know it's because different music requires different things, and it's all about. It's like when we had this studio from 2004 to 2019, whatever. Uh, I was thinking about it. It will be very interesting to give our equipment to, let's say, Metallica,
Mm.
and said, and you can have this and make an album. Good luck, because then you will get a much more interesting thing,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I think the big bands should take more risks, but that's my opinion. I mean, obviously they won't take any risk because there's a kind of a billion people of them, and there's like 200 families depends on the success of the album and stuff like that, and okay, that's a different thing. But it will be interesting to have a band like Metallica record on our equipment a full album.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because the sound, it's like I said this in earlier interviews, but this is like how I see music. It's like, okay, you have made an album. Okay, you have all the songs put together, you have all the riffs, and you can compare it to a big painting. Okay, and the actual painting is the music. It's the riffs, it's the vocals, it's the lyrics, okay. But if you are going to have a really huge painting on the wall, uh, you want to have a frame on it, and the frame is the sound.
Hmm.
And you can always just slap a flat plastic black frame on it. It's very easy,
Hmm.
and it's probably very safe as well. But that's when I would like to have some kind of a exotic wood that we can carve out small details in the, because you want to what I'm saying is that the sound is very, very important, of where you want to to take the listener to another place, and there's so many bands, and well, to put it another way, there's so many albums out there that I really want to like, but I just can't listen to them because of the sound.
Hmm.
It could be that the guitar sounds too digital, the
Hmm.
bass drum is just a huge click, and then I can't listen to it. I'm sorry, but that's the way I am. I like, like, yeah. But it's something for everybody. There's, especially a couple of albums I know I really like the atmosphere, and the riffs and I understand where this should be going, but the sound is like a huge turn off for me, and that's just sad.
No, I could completely understand where you're coming from. It's like you really want to like it, but something's pissing you off, and it's just something that just doesn't connect with you in the right way.
No, it's all a matter of personal taste, I guess. But it goes without saying that my and I think I can talk for Fenris as well, that our feet are very deeply planted into the 70s and the 80s, at least early 80s when it comes to metal. But we don't tolerate much, weirdos.
What was your proudest Darkthrone moment?
Musically?
Yeah, musically, I meant more in terms of like in terms of like the whole thing. Like, what is this? Like, what moment are you like the most proud of?
Well, okay. It goes without saying I'm standing 100% behind all our albums. I'm proud of all our albums. But what I'm going to tell you now is something that has nothing to do with music. And I think one of them is that being such an, call it, established band that we have never ever received 1 penny from the community or the state to run our business. It's very common in Norway that band get money, going on tour, money to record albums, money to whatever. We have never received anything. Everything we have built with Darkthrone is from scratch, and it's by our own making. I'm proud of that. And also, I have to mention that I'm proud of, we have told our record companies through all these years that our albums shall not, they are not allowed, we say you are not allowed to send our albums into we have some kind of a Grammys or whatever it's called here in Norway as well, for music, and they have never been allowed to send our albums in there, because we think it is kind of stupid, to be honest. We don't need it, and also a couple of years, I think it was in 3 years ago or something, we were picked out by the Norwegian National Library in Oslo. They have this kind of they call permanent exhibitions that last 20 years, and I think it was like 200 people that were going to agree on 30 items on that permanent exhibition. And I think the theme was like a cultural kind of export thing. And A Blaze in Northern Sky was picked out.
Oh, right. Yeah, yes, I remember watching something about that in the Helvete documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's
And I think, because we have refused to be on this Grammy Spellemans Award or whatever it is, I think that was like because we got a mail from the National Library and saying that we are invited to go to the opening of this exhibition, and I didn't know it was like going to last for 20 years, and so we just at first we just said like, okay, we are honored, blah blah blah, but it took a couple of weeks, and some of my family members and others I knew was kind of saying it to me that this is a major thing, and I tried to look it up and what was really happening, and then I was kind of I was really it's a proud moment, definitely, because it's like the best acknowledge you can get from your own country, and so I think that was a good thing, and that was the moment. I also thought that we were only 19 years old. You know, it's a long time ago. So that's a good thing. It felt good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, there's some very, very powerful moments there. Like it's yeah, like a lot of that is just pretty fucking right on, man. Like I didn't know that bands in Norway received grants to record albums and stuff, and
No, it's really it's a common thing because and luckily so, because there's a lot of band. I don't know, but it's a very common thing to do here in Norway to apply for this kind of things. But it just because we maybe I think we're kind of outsiders somehow, because we don't want to get into the party. You know, it's just like to stick to ourselves. So yeah, but other people might think that we are that it's really silly of us, but no, we don't need to apply for anything. We can make our own future,
hmm,
basically.
yeah,
I mean, we could easily apply, you know, to get some support from the county or something when we started out, you know, to get instruments. But no, we just worked hard to get them ourselves, and then we don't have to answer to anyone either.
yeah. I think out of everything that we've talked about, I think that's probably the most inspiring thing is that you guys really did work like for years and years and years from the grounds up to create Darkthrone to create Darkthrone and create Darkthrone as a whole, the product, the entity that is Darkthrone, or from basically pure hard work, pure determination, unwillingness to settle for less, and pure drive, and it all was really created by these hands. And
Yeah,
I think that's one of the most inspiring things that I've ever fucking heard.
to refer to the Scarface movie,
Mm.
um, we are always right, even if we are wrong.
Yeah,
But,
and yeah, and that's another thing I was going to say. Like, you guys have been making effectively the right decisions since the start of the band, and
I think so.
yeah, like look what's become of Darkthrone, and no, that just that hit differently. Like, it's really really got me thinking. But I love it. I love that the pure grit and determination has enabled you to sculpt and create your goals.
It's fantastic, and the thing that we have always it's like you said that there's not really any compromises, because we can't be doing things that we are uncomfortable with. It's not going to happen. So and I think the people we have worked with through the years have understood that, and so we had an easy easygoing, 35 years really, doing what we want to do, and it definitely has been a really good thing for us, and as persons.
I want to bring it back to songwriting, if I may.
Mm.
So when you're playing guitar
Yeah.
and you're just like jamming around and stuff, do you think of drum beats in your head?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because this is some of the discussions we have before we go to studio, because I always have the drums in my head, and it's like so we discuss it, we talk about it, we agree on things, and but then again, when it comes to the studio work, it's always like things can happen there that I mean, one of the new songs is like some of the riffs was supposed to go faster,
Hmm.
but because of the how the song is kind of tied together, it did get go slower, and vice versa. These things happen all the time. Not all the time, but basically on every album, there's something like that. But so we have to adjust to make it may take only one riff to that we have to adjust the tempo of the song to that one riff, because it has to work. And okay, I might have made the riff to go faster, but okay, we can take it a bit slower, and then so we always have to adjust to the situation, and so yeah, we do a lot of compromises, I guess, in the sake of getting things to work properly, because you can't be completely die hard on such small details, because the riffs are the same, but especially one of the riffs on the newer songs, it was supposed to go much faster, but it went a bit slower on the album. But it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
No, that's cool because for me, when I write music as well, I'm always thinking about the drums. You
Yeah.
know, what kind of drums are going to work over this? Because for me, when it comes to like heavy metal and making music, like drums are just as important, sometimes more important than the riffs. Because
Yeah.
you have one riff and have so many different drum beats behind it, and you've got a completely different feel and mood, and it can kind of fit in different places as well. Um,
Yeah.
it
Absolutely. And I think there's so many options on drums, and so you have to think about it, so I usually think about drums in general, and tempo, and but then again, I let Fenris do his interpretation of what I'm saying,
Hmm.
because he always has good solutions to it, and so yeah. But drums, we this. I mean, guitar. I mean, riffs are okay. Riffs are riffs. You can bend the string there, or it's more settled. But drums is a bit more open for interpretation, and but I think we managed to manage it well, and Fenris is also, he understands where things are going, and so yeah, there's not much arguing in studio. There's there's just basically we understand each other, and
You know, I've had conversations with people and we're talking about the music, and you know, I question. I remember I had this conversation with years ago with someone, and their point was, why should I listen to the drums if I'm a guitar player? And I'm like, bruh.
yeah.
I'm like, bruh. Like, are you
Well,
for real? Like, this
that's very interesting. I never heard that kind of way. Okay.
yeah.
It's and there you go again, because a band can be compiled by very different thinking persons, and I think one of our advantages is like we've we've been playing for so many years together, and we never had really much uh, arguments really. There's been um, a couple of times where we had to decide which of the songs we have that we should throw away, for example. It's only happened a couple of times during 35 years, and we agree on that as well, because we understand what's best for the album, for the band, for the whatever. So there's no hard feelings, and that's the key to making it work, because you have to sacrifice and you have to. But of course, there's been incidents where we uh, both of us are more stubborn than usual,
Mm.
and but these things always solve themselves, but we have to give it a bit of time, and yeah, that's um, that's how it works. Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, he released a book
Hmm.
not long ago, and I listened to the audiobook because it's Geezer that actually read the book.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's really really fucking interesting, because Black Sabbath is part of my foundation, in metal, and it was a great experience. I mean, and all the things that they encountered was out of this world.
Mm.
I can't imagine. I mean, it's talking about struggling in the 70s, but a lot of band from the 70s and 80s probably were ripped off a lot of record companies and stuff like that. And it's an interesting book. You should give it a try.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's always interesting hearing other people's stories and bands, and um yeah, no, that's something I'll have to definitely check out at some point for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause I know he released a book. I think Ozzy released a book as well, and Tony Iommi, but I haven't read any of them yet.
No, but it's a good thing. And no, Geezer did a very good job, and it feels like a very authentic insight in what happened. And he's starting from the beginning, where they met, in a kind of a post-war Birmingham.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was very very interesting. I actually, when I start listening to it, I couldn't really let go. I had to listen to, yeah, it's like 8.5 hours or something.
Gotcha. See,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I had a very similar experience a few months ago, but it was it was 50 Cent, the American rapper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he released his kind of audiobook on like success and life and business, and you get really lost into it. And there's so much knowledge and so much stories in
Mm.
there as well. And it's really inspiring. It's just like, damn, like this is what they went through. This is their story. This is how they overcame the obstacles. Here's about some problems that they had. When everyone thought when the whole world thought everything's going right for everything's going right and well and good for them. In the midst of it is just this chaos, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Mm.
And it's yeah, I just found that really, really inspiring. And I'll check if that audiobook is on Spotify or something. You can listen to it when
Yeah.
driving. Yeah. But
I warn you, it's very hard to let go when you first
yeah,
start listening to him. He's a really good talker, Geezer. So yeah, and
no,
you know, it's like when it comes to recording equipment. If you take Black Sabbath, you take you know, the big bands from the 70s. Everybody sounded differently because when you got to a studio, there was a lot of studios back then, and that studio has all this kind of equipment, and this studio has all this kind of equipment, and so on. And the band came in with maybe they have their own guitars, maybe some amplifiers, some gear, and if this band went to this studio instead of that studio, it would probably sound different.
mm,
And that's the good thing, because you can. It was a much more interesting times, because as we talked about sound, how important that is. Um, it was a good time, and also the start of the 80s with the metal scene as well. So yeah, sound is important, and today everything is more streamlined because they go into the same kind of programs and things, which make them sound pretty much this, you know, almost the same. There's just, you know, small differences here and there, and I think that's kind of a boring thing because again, I want the big bands to take more chances. I mean, I'm a you know, Metallica fan as well, and I think you know, just because they released the, you know, the three first albums, which is insanely good, and so I can't anything else than respect them forever
mm,
because of that. And but you know, it's like it's like a question. I mean, if you had a local pub around where you live,
mm.
how much money are you willing to pay to see Metallica perform the three first album at that small place? You know, in
Yeah.
the like, yeah. Interesting, interesting.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I think yeah, I think there's it's interesting that you mentioned sound, and I found that as well. Like there's a lack of personality.
It has definitely.
Yeah. And something needs to change. But in this current stage, um I I don't know. I've got an idea. Uh but the thing is, if things to change, things need to go forward. But then maybe the way to move forward is to look back into the past a bit.
I think it's about time
Hmm.
we should,
Yeah.
because everything is getting really sterile, and it's like you know, taking the soul out of everything, be it cars, be it buildings, whatever. Everything is become soulless.
Your time in Satyricon.
Yeah,
Yeah. So how much did you contribute to the songwriting on Nemesis Divina?
nothing.
Okay.
I was, I think, you know, I was the guitarist, and I it was me and Frost that we him Frost and me, we rehearsed a lot
Hmm.
before recording the album. Um, because again, when you come to studio, everything is going to click together, and it has to be as good as possible. So we rehearsed a lot, and in the studio, I was laying down the kind of a lead guitar together with Frost as well. And yeah, that was a great thing. We had a good time back then. And yeah, it was and Satirical was like and this is what I was supposed to say earlier, because when it comes to the Norwegian black metal scene, it was you can hear that all the band had a very different approach to the music. Being Satyricon or Mayhem or Darkthrone or Emperor, those bands were completely different and enslaved, and it's like. But it's very strange that this was happening in Norway. I don't know, but it's good to think about now, because all the inspiration, that came to everybody, Bursum and everybody sounded differently. It was a good time. So I think, and you can hear obviously that Emperor wasn't inspired by Darkthrone or vice versa. We have all our different approach to how to express ourselves, and I think that's kind of unique, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, and that's why I love like the early Norwegian scene so much, is because it's purely because of the difference. It's like, Thorns is always going to sound like Thorns, and
Yeah,
Emperor is always going to sound like Emperor, and everything was so distinct.
yeah,
And even if they were recorded in, Greek Hall, and the album still sounded different because everyone put like their own personal twists into it, and um, it's going back to personality
yeah,
as well, and that's why I think that's one of the reasons why I think that Norwegian black metal, musically speaking, captured a lot of people's attention, is because it was so vastly different from everything
yeah,
that was going on at the time, and it's
yeah, I think so. And of course, Darkthrone is the only band that didn't go to Grieg Hall.
yeah.
It was I talked to Pitten several times, and he's a great guy and everything. But I think we were kind of. I mean, you have to remember that Darkthrone, we came from more of a. I mean, it was metal, but we are kind of. We came from the hardcore punk scene as well. So that's where we, when everybody's doing one thing, we should definitely do the opposite kind of thinking. Yeah, silly and childish, but it has worked for us.
No, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Just very quickly going back to Satyricon, what's your favorite song off Nemesis Divina?
Oh, I don't know. There's been many years since I heard that album now. I have the vinyl here, but
Awesome.
can't remember all the tracks. But I think what I thought about, because I was on the first European tour with Satyricon, and I think Satyr had some kind of problem with his arm, so he couldn't play on that tour. So I did kind of simulate two guitars on that tour, and then I had to learn songs from the two first albums as well. And what strike me about those three first albums is that the riffing was very different, very interesting riffing. It was great to play, and but I think Nemesis Divina came out really good, and it was like it was a natural progression from the first two albums, in my opinion. And yeah, it was it was all good times, and I also can remember that this was this island outside Oslo, and Jon from this section.
Hmm.
He was over there, and we had a party together with him, and he had this kind of a raw mix of one of the albums.
Storm of the Lightsbane or
Yes,
Storm of the Lightsbane?
or
Somberlane.
I think it was the Summerlin actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He had the raw mix of that album, which was extremely cool.
Hmm.
And I remember as the night progresses, we told, I mean, both Frost and Satyr and me, we was saying, don't do anything to this sound. It's so great. It sounds. Please don't do anything about it. It's awesome. And I almost couldn't recognize the album when it came out, but it was a great album anyway. But the remix that he came with was like out of this world great sounding. It was absolutely awesome. And I also have because the first time I met Jon, I met him at the streets in Oslo,
Mhm.
and he was selling the first the Dissection single they
Oh,
released.
cool.
Yeah, and I bought it from him, and I have it here, and I played it kind of a couple of times many years ago. So it's in mint condition. I like that. I mean, Jon, we were touring with Dissection on the first Satyricon tour, and those guys are absolutely great guys, and it was a pleasure.
Yeah, that would have been one hell of a tour back in the day. Early Satyricon and early Dissection.
Yeah,
Just
and early Gorgoroth as well because
and,
they were on tour as well. Yeah,
oh, okay. That's
and we
one.
were all crammed into the same bus, so it was interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's um
Yeah,
that's really cool. That would
yeah,
be
it was great, and the Gorgoroth was great, and Dissection was great, and Satyricon was great, and it was a hell of a tour, but it was kind of cut a bit short because like the first European tour is always very dirty and obnoxious experience, and suddenly the bus is breaking down, and we had all these kind of problems. So before we was supposed to go to Switzerland and Spain, we just aborted the tour actually.
oh man.
Yeah,
Ah. But yeah, I guess these things happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
can't yeah, I can't. But no, that sounds like one hell of an experience and
Oh yeah, it was definitely the only thing you can do to keep sane. I mean, after a while, the only thing that really gave some meaning was to actually play live.
hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
otherwise, you could just be drinking and sleeping because there was you get easily bored of people. At least I do.
Yeah, no, I can understand. It's like you're stuck in a box with lots of other people who are also feeling like they're stuck in a box. So
Yeah,
emotions are always all over the place, and there's
yeah, yeah,
literally nothing to do except just sit and carry gear. And then when you finally get on stage, it's such a high. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, this is amazing. We're gonna do it again. The next day it's gonna be amazing, and the next day comes and you're like, oh crap, not this again.
I know. That's the way.
Yeah, for sure. And are you gonna make another movie like the
No,
Misanthrope? No,
no.
okay.
I was well. I wouldn't say no because I have a very good plan for it,
Mhm.
and I've discussed that with a dude that makes films. So if I'm going to do that, it's not me that's going to be filming it like the first one, but it's going to be equal weird, but it's going to be a bit more professional
Gotcha.
and a bit of a more of a maybe some kind of a it's going to be a bit more planned.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but let's see, let's see.
Hmm.
I was so exhausted after the first. I used a lot of resources
Hmm.
in my brain and my time on it. Building coffins.
Hmm.
It was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that
So
at the beginning of the movie where you're pulling the
yeah,
coffin. Yeah.
so yeah, let's see.
I really like the charm of the misanthrope because it's kind of it's got a Darkthrone style moodiness, but it's so wholesome at the same time. Like you're fishing with Grutler, the
Yeah,
enslaved, and you've got like Fenris filming, and that was just I just found that so wholesome. And then you're traveling to Japan, and then you've got the aura noir
yeah,
lifestyle as well, and
yeah. It was like the point of it was like get a glimpse into you know uh, what I was doing basically, and I tried to have some. I filmed myself, skiing and stuff like that, and try to have a kind of a red line through the whole thing, but it's difficult. And I remember at the finishing stages of editing that film, I was like, I was I was thinking nobody's going to understand this. This is like, what the fuck am I doing? People has to be overly stoned to even comprehend what I'm doing here. So like, I got a lot of thoughts in my mind, but yeah, I released it. It was good. It was good. It was good. Um, I don't know. Fenris has no eyes for visual things, but I do, and so that's why we also always talking about the Darkthrone
Hmm.
covers, album covers.
Actually, yeah, speaking of album covers, A Blaze in the Northern Sky. So I only recently found out that the original image is sideways.
Yeah,
That blew my mind.
I think I can't remember exactly how that did happen, but I think it was my idea because we were fiddling around with the picture, and so if you turn the album cover
Mm,
one notch, you
yeah.
will have the picture was actually looking like. But the thing is that when we tilted the picture, it looks it's like it's a different thing,
Yeah.
and so that worked really well actually.
Any final words or comments that you'd like to say, or any bits of advice you've got for people who are learning guitar or want to start bands, or anything that you could recommend to people to do, and or maybe anything that you feel needs or you want changed.
I recommend everybody that is starting a band or start learning the guitar or trying to get something together musically, that they should do exactly what their gut feeling is telling them. Because when you think that this is right for you, it's right for you. Doesn't matter what the other people thinks. Uh, it's because music should be exactly the thing that this is going to make your life more wholesome, and that's the point of music. That's the whole point. There's no other point of music. It just enhances your life, and you have to go with it. And if people say you're doing it wrong, then you're probably doing it right, in my opinion.